Every game has its broken agent, and Valorant is none other than Neon. In this guide, I'm going to be teaching you how to dominate your ranked games playing her, starting with a complete rundown of her abilities for beginners, then I'll be moving into advanced tips, movement tips, and finally I'll be detailing all of her entry pathing so that you guys have absolutely everything covered to destroy everyone. But before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Ikah, and I've been Immortal 3 since quite literally the beginning of the game. And although it makes me sad to say that, it is my credentials for giving you guys advice alongside the fact that I'm actually a Neon 1-trick. Just remember, all timestamps are in the description below and on the video red keynote. And without further ado, let's get started with the ability rundown. To fully understand Neon's kit, we have to familiarize ourselves with her signature ability, High Gear. High Gear allows Neon to increase her movement speed by 35% for a period of time highlighted by her fuel gauge, but she cannot shoot her gun. By pressing right click, Neon then slides in your target direction and pulls out her gun after a short period of time. There is a brief window where you can shoot while sliding, but it's not fully accurate, meaning the closer you are to the target, the better. Neon can also use other abilities during High Gear's active, and upon killing an enemy, her fuel gauge refills to 100. This ability is extremely complicated and has a lot of nuance, so I highly recommend you watch my advanced tips section to truly understand it. The same goes for the other abilities. Neon's second most important ability is Relay Bolt. This is a stun that bounces off of walls once, and upon hitting an enemy, stuns them for 3.5 seconds. It can stun multiple targets, utility, and of course, herself. Interestingly, her stun works completely vertically, meaning if you throw it at a very high wall, the stun runs all the way down the wall till the ground. This leads to some cool lineups. Next we have Fast Lane, her wall. Activating this creates 2 walls that carry forward until they run out or hit a surface. It lasts 4 seconds and allows for a lot of outplays. You can throw this ability through walls by aiming above them. And last but not least, we have Neon's ultimate ability, and in my opinion, the strongest one in the game, Overdrive. This equips Neon with the laser gun from Quake, activating High Gear permanently and allowing her to use her Filipino powers to beam down opponents while running and sliding to protect her mother's adobo recipe. It lasts until the fuel gauge runs out, which means if you keep killing people, you keep your ultimate going. When all combined, these abilities allow you to become absolutely unstoppable on the server. But if you don't know what you're doing, then things can go, well, they can go pretty horribly.
I'm not gonna pick this guy, guys.
We're running a suck. We're running in a suck.
Almost down.
Look at this guy.
So, in order to prevent you from being a victim to the infamous 7-day suspension, I prepared a short summary of how to use her abilities. Key note here, with all of her abilities, you need to remember that your gun is not out. So don't throw these when you're in a position that can get swung easily. Try to use them around corners or from angles that are already safe. You will see in all of my clips that I'm very meticulous with when I pop my ult or when I stun an enemy. I do it so that they can't have enough time to react to me actually doing it, but I have enough time to get my gun or my electric fingers out. First, her wall. You should be using this to allow you and your teammates to cross into positions safely, block off operators, and create chaos. In this clip, I start off the round using my wall to give me a bit of cover so that I can cross safely to rubble while the enemy team is trying to take the A main space. Because of the speed at which I got into this position, I was able to take my kill on the jet and snowball the round, eventually ending in an ace. This was all because of that initial wall. Her stun. You should be using this to flush enemies out of corners, to get free kills on players with no escape, or to help you entry safer. The most common way you're going to be using this ability is to help you when you're entering. If you want to learn all of the different ways that I use my stun to entry and to help me entry, watch the entry pathing section of this guide. There you'll be able to see all of the different lineups that I use, but most of them are actually made up on the fly. Generally speaking, you should be using your stun when you have an idea of where someone is or where they've been playing in previous rounds so that you can punish them. You shouldn't really be using this as a reactive ability, it's kind of a bit more preemptive unless you're in your ultimate. High Gear. Use this to catch timings on enemy players that aren't expecting it. You should also be using this to rotate faster and to run up on enemies that are already affected by your teammate's utility. To learn more about High Gear and Slide, watch the movement section of the video. And finally, her ultimate. There are no real rules for this one, just use it whenever you think it will win you a round. whether that's on retake, in a 1vx, or even if you have an advantage. Its main strength is that you can move and shoot. It's basically a round guaranteeing ultimate, so do what you want with it, just never save it. Ever. If you can hit 3 headshots on someone with Overdrive, you essentially insta-kill them. So make sure that you practice your tracking and always aim for the head. It's also inaccurate while jumping, so I try to avoid that if possible. But I know you. I know why you really want to play this character, and that's why I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about movement. As you can see, I have my keyboard on the left, and I have my mouse on the right. I'm going to need you guys to follow along with me very carefully because a lot of this is old tech that's ingrained into me and is pretty hard to teach. But with a little bit of looking and some practice after the guide, you can get it down too. So first, we're going to start with some basic movement. How do we move the way Neon players move? All we need to do is understand the concept called strafing. All this is moving to the right or to the left. I did that the complete opposite way, because as you can see, we're moving to the right or to the left. Now, we need to nail the concept of air strafing. So what's air strafing? We need to now jump and move to the right or to the left. It's not really working. So there's a trick to get it to work. We're going to start moving before we're in the air so we can change direction while we're in the air. We're going to hold our W key, then we're going to jump, and while we're jumping, we're going to press the D key. But we're still not moving. That's because we're missing one part of the puzzle, the mouse input. So we need to be moving our mouse in the same direction we're looking in order to actually turn in that direction. So we're going to press W, jump, D, and turn. And turn. And turn. You don't have to let go of W. You can hold W and D at the same time if you want. But you need to make sure that when you're jumping, you're turning that way too. So we're going to go D and turn to the right. And A and turn to the left. And now, if you synchronize your hops one after the other, so W, D, jump, A. Wait a second, I've seen this before. D, A, D, A, D, A. We're bunny hopping. And then, when you bunny hop normally, watch this. You can bunny hop while sprinting. Now that might be a lot to digest. I highly recommend you watch over that section multiple times just to kind of understand what I'm talking about. But the basic mechanic here is that we're going to change our direction in the air by first making sure we have enough speed to even move in the first place. So we need to be running before we jump, and then when you have your speed, you jump and you press D and you turn right. Get that movement down, then get that same movement down on the other side, and all you have to do is chain them together. When you actually get the momentum, you don't need to press W again. You can just hold A and D and go like this. It can be quite difficult. I remember learning this when I was a kid. I was 7 or 8 years old, trying to learn how to B-hop in Team Fortress 2, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand it. It legitimately took me like 50 hours worth of practice. Now, I guarantee you're not nearly as stupid as I am because you had the brain to actually search tutorial. I'm going to make this as easy as I can for you. That's how you B-hop. Replay as much as you want. Look at my key movements. Look at my keystrokes. I'm even slowing them down on screen for you to understand. But once you get this key mechanic down, the rest of the game is pretty simple, man. We learn how to B-hop, and from our B-hop, we can do anything. So now that we understand that, we can start utilizing our innate movement ability to get some cool kills, to get some cool spacing, and to make better plays all around the map. I'm going to start first with Neon's wall and how we can use that and our B-hopping to really get the most out of the space we're trying to create and the kills we're trying to get. So, if I'm taking an engagement and I throw my wall like this, I now have 2 walls to jump in and out of, and while I'm doing this, I can get information, and I'm pretty hard to hit. Now, it's not a guarantee you don't die or don't get spammed through the wall, but it is a very safe way if you're in a situation where you're stuck and you want to make a play. So just throw this wall, jump in and out, and they don't know which part of the wall you come out of. It's basically impossible to know, except on sound cues, and especially in team fights where there's lots of abilities going around, they might not actually know where to look. So that is an important tool. The other thing that this wall is really good at doing is when you're in a situation where there are 2 people that are flash, but one isn't. So you throw the wall up so that that one person is scared and now has to think harder to defend. Maybe your teammates are backing you up. You can get that kill and then get the other 2 kills, especially if you don't have a stun to act on that first kill that's harder to get. But now that we have strafing down as well, we can do something called jump spotting, which is where, you see, I strafe round the corner. You actually press the opposite direction to the place that you want to peek. So I'm going to start A and then go WD like this. It's basically the same concept. You don't have to do that. You can also jiggle, but this is much better. So you WD, look right, WD, look right. And what this does is allow you to use your enhanced speed to get more information while staying safe. If you spot something, and this is something that a rank 1 Neon player that I played in ranked used to do against me every time I faced him, I fucking hated that guy, is he would jump around the corner like this, see someone, and then during his jump, he would just stun. And then he would slide on you and kill you. And there's no time to react because you're not holding for the jump spot. Technologia. Where you're going to be getting most of your kills on Neon using your abilities will be with your slide. Now, slide is actually directional, moving it goes into every single position you can physically get with your keyboard. Anywhere that you can input, it will go. So if I wanted to go to southwest, I can go A and S and slide, and I will slide to southwest. Now, stuff like that isn't particularly useful, but what is sliding horizontally instead of vertically or forward. So what a lot of you may be doing is spotting someone while you're B-hopping and then just sliding straight forward. And this is very hard, especially because if the player that you're sliding into is, let's say it's this guy, and I jump into it and I slide like this, it's actually an easier shot for him because I'm jumping around and then all of a sudden I've just slid in front of him and I've stopped. It would be much better if you kept moving and then actually exited your high gear and just shot him. A lot of the times that works better. But overcome this and still use your slide by sliding to the left or to the right. And the reason this works is first because your slide covers about 8 meters of distance, 7 meters of distance. So it goes a very long way. But 2, because you're actually crossing the hardest plane to aim on. So if someone goes towards you, they don't really need to move their crosser that much. It's an up or down movement like that. It's very small. If you slide across their screen, now all of a sudden they have to make this big movement like that. And you have way more time to get this kill on them, especially if they're affected by Util, like their flash or their stun. So I would say whenever you go into a fight, always try and slide horizontally. And try and minimize the time that you're out in the open. So try and slide from behind cover. And if you really want, and this is a very crazy peak you can implement, if you start from super behind cover and you slide like this, then your character model will be crouching and then instantly go upwards. And it's literally seamless, and people might miss their first shot on you and end up body shotting you, and you'll get a free kill. The other thing that you can do with your slide is during the slide, you can spam your crouch, and you can't actually see this on the screen. I need another PV to show this. But it will manipulate your hitbox upwards and downwards, and it just looked absolutely ridiculous to play against. And there's basically no way they can hit you. It will throw off you actually a tiny bit, but it's really good if you're playing with like a shotgun. You can also just slide and go into crouching, which might be harder for some people to shoot you. I don't recommend it, though. I recommend you just let go of it because it will change your hitbox way more. But in combination, you should be doing some stuff like this. So I'm throwing my wall up, looking for information. I jump spot, find the guy, stun him, and then I slide horizontally and I kill him. That is the essence of movement. We're trying to make ourselves harder to hit and easier for us to get the kill. The power of ziplines. People don't know this, but you actually carry momentum on and off ziplines and even gain a tiny bit. One of the most common jumps with your sprint is to do this, where you'll gain speed and you can slide up here and you get access to their spawn. It's kind of ridiculous, and these zips are pretty much the only thing that makes Neon viable on this map. Otherwise, different duelists just have way more strength over her. You can really utilize these wires to get significant speed. You can jump on and off of them, create some chaos backside, and get kills wherever you want them. For those of you that like to chase excellence, I have one more special tip for you, and I highlighted this at the very beginning of the guide. It's how to animation cancel your slide with a slide reset from your ultimate. It looks something like this, and can be very useful if you're trying to fight enemies and you're in a pinch. The way you do it is by sliding, pressing your ultimate in the same animation as your slide, and then right-clicking in the other direction. Slide towards the end of your slide, you hit your ultimate key, and you hold the opposite direction of the way that you're sliding, and then you press a right-click again. So I'm going slide left, and then slide right. You can pop your ultimate in custom game to test it if you want, because you'll get unlimited slides with cheats on. This may seem useless, but this trick has saved me more times than I can possibly count. But how do we implement this into our game? How do we become a real duelist? Everyone tells you that duelists need to get kills. but they never explain to you how. For me to do that, we need to understand the concept of space. To make space means to take territory away from your opponents and into your control. We usually do this by dumping Util like flashes, stuns, blah blah blah, whatever. But why? What do we actually gain by doing this? We make it difficult for our enemies to kill us by reducing the options they have, and we also push enemies away from the bomb site if we're on defense and get closer to the bomb site if we're on attack, which is our win condition. Now Neon is a very, very special case, or at least her doctor told her so. She has the superpower of running. Technically forever if she gets resets, which means she can snowball rounds off of one kill. To get this kill, we need to follow the magic formula. First, we need information. Where are the enemy players? What are they doing? What Util can they throw at me? And how can I avoid it? We can see here that the enemy team are fighting for A main using Sova ultimate and lots of Util. Using this information, I try to make a decision and catch a timing, but I'm wrong and I die. See that things don't always go the way you want them to. Sometimes you need to experience the situation and make the mistake so you can reevaluate it coming into the next round. And in that next round, I see them use their Util again. So now we need to make the decision. Am I going to respect this, or am I going to use my abilities, my speed and my wall to create chaos and find an opening? Now I've made my decision, all that's left is to commit. I throw my wall up, sprint past the nade and run into the rain with my close range stinger while she is not expecting it to get a free kill. Now the thing that ties this all together is confidence, and this isn't something that falls out the sky. It's something that you get from making these mistakes over and over and knowing what the correct decision is. You can see this in full display in this clip.
Let's see, there's one more. Nice. Nice. Okay, I'm sure. I'm late.
Oh, two coming from top heaven.
He's close to me.
Two coming from mid.
Nice.
Last mid.
I didn't get this good by just studying. I got this good by playing this elbow situation over and over again until I had all the answers. Now, before I end this lecture, I have some secret advice I'm going to give you guys regarding guns. A lot of these plays would not be possible if I did not pick the right weaponry for them. So here's my list of go-to guns for each round. For pistol and anti-eco, I choose the Frenzy and the Stinger. For super low buys, I play the Bucky. When I have a hard read on where people are coming, I play the Judge. I only opt on Neon if I'm forced to. Try these out and I promise you, you will not regret it. Now that's literally all I have to say for this video. The last few minutes dedicated purely to helping you understand the different entry pathing that you can use on every map. So before you hear my voice for the last time, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps, and if it did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what you liked about the video. Murphist!
Gotta go! Shortcut! Shocking! I'm out of here! Shortcut! Shocking! Go! Shortcut! Shocking! Shortcut! Shocking! Coming through! Watch out! Go! Go! Shortcut! Shocking! There! Shortcut! Shocking! Shortcut! Shocking! Go! Shortcut! Shocking! Shortcut! Shocking! Go! Go! Shortcut! Shocking! Here, shocking! Shortcut! Short good. Stalking. Stalking. Short gun. Stalking. Here, short gun. Stalking. Short gun. Stalking. Go, go, go. Gotta go. Short gun. Stalking. Stalking. Short gun. Short gun. Stalking. Short gun. Stalking. Go. Short gun. Gotta go. Stalking. Short gun. Stalking. I'm out of here. Gotta go. Short gun. Stalking. Short gun. Stalking. Stalking. Gotta go. Short gun. Stalking. Go, go, go. Short gun. Stalking. Go. Short gun. Stalking.